I haven't gamed on an Xbox console since the release of Gears of War 3 back in 2011, almost a decade ago. But now that I have an Xbox Series X, now that I've had a chance to dibble and dabble into every nook and cranny of this console, I thought it would be interesting to give my thoughts on it from the perspective of a guy that mainly plays on Nintendo, as well as an Xbox fan that has been gone from the ecosystem for so long. I guess I'll talk about the games first, since that's what's most important here. What excited me the most about the Xbox Series X wasn't so much the newer games, it was being able to go back and revisit some older games that I loved back in the day, or games that I missed out on completely and wanted to try. So with the amazing power of backwards compatibility, I was able to do just that. And for some weird reason, you had a lot of these internet gaming weirdos mad and upset that I bought a new console to play old games. But I don't know. I feel like old games had at least half the spotlight as new games this year, if we're being honest. It was like at every turn, you were hearing about old games, whether it was the PC guys hyping up Persona 4 Golden and Mario 64 data mines and mods, Nintendo fans hyping up 3DS games, Wii games and Wii U games coming to the Switch, and one of the best-selling games of the year being a collection of old Mario games. Nintendo also released the Fire Emblem 30th anniversary for the Switch, Xbox fans tinkering and hacking their consoles to play PlayStation 2 games on it, the Analog Pocket selling out in mere minutes, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom remastered. The list goes on and on. But now that it's time for the Drewster to have his fun with old games, all of a sudden, it's a problem. All of a sudden, everybody wants to rain on my parade, and all of a sudden, everybody wants to shut it down. But you guys know me. I loves me some old games. Plus, when new games come out for an already existing series, it's always nice to be able to catch up with what you've been missing out on, or experiment with the game to see if it's even your type of game, instead of it not being available on your platform and having to pray and hope that it gets remastered or ported to the next generation console, just so that you can understand what the heck is going on in the story, or waiting for your favorite YouTuber to continue the retrospective series. But to bring it back to the Xbox, the backwards compatibility works great here. What's even more impressive is that some of these games run a lot better on the Xbox Series X than they did on their original platform. Some games feel like they got a remaster without me having to pay an extra $1 for them. It's shocking. I was playing Skate 1 and I remember the game running at 30 frames per second on my Xbox 360, but on the Xbox Series X, it's now running at a buttery smooth 60 frames per second. My only complaint about backwards compatibility would be that everything is not backwards compatible. Back in the day, 99% of your games just worked on whatever console you were trying to play them on, but now you kind of have to do your research before making your purchase to see if it's even compatible with the Xbox Series X. And of course, a lot of the games I wanted to play didn't make the cut. So hopefully Microsoft continues to unlock more and more games throughout the lifespan of the Xbox Series X. Now let's talk about Game Pass, because I think this service is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in modern day gaming. Now you guys know me. I'm ride or die physical. I love my physical media with anything really, not even just games. I'm a weirdo that still buys DVDs and Blu-rays and has no Netflix, no Crunchyroll or Hulu subscription. But digital games was always something I could never really get down with. Even when I would get review copies, I was still there day one to show my support physically. I just saw no incentive to digital gaming, and to be honest, I still don't really. But with Xbox Game Pass, I get it. For a small fee of $10 to $15 a month, you get access to a smorgasbord of great games to enjoy. And it's not like these are some bargain bin type garbage games in the lineup. You've got all of Microsoft's first party content, indie titles, Japanese games like Nier Automata, Dragon Quest XI, Yakuza, and even more Yakuza games on the way. I was able to beat Battletoads and Gears of War Ultimate through this service for just a single $1, and I've got more games to check out. And again, I will still be buying these games physically. New Super Lucky Tail, I'll buy on my Switch. I bought all my Microsoft games physically anyways, but objectively speaking, Game Pass is an amazing bargain. And all of Microsoft's games will be in Game Pass day one too. So let's say hypothetically Halo, Flight Simulator, Doom, Elder Scrolls, and Grounded were all to release the same day. As long as you're subscribed to this service, you will have access to each and every last one of those games without having to pay $60 or $70 per game. I am a physical guy through and through. I literally waited to buy certain games in hopes that they would get a physical release, but there are just some things that you cannot deny, and Game Pass is one of them. Quick Resume is one of the Xbox Series X defining features. It's a mode that lets you exit out of a game and then pick up right where you left off, provided you didn't close the game map completely. And for the most part, it works just as advertised. I haven't encountered any crashes or glitches while using it. It should be noted that Quick Resume doesn't apply to games you own physically outside of the one that's already in the console, which makes sense. But one weird thing I did notice, which may just be exclusive to this game, was that when I was playing Sonic Racing Transformed, that it took a lot longer to load races when starting the game up regularly. But if I were to leave, play another game, and then quick resume back to Sonic Racing Transformed, the load times were so much quicker for some reason, and I don't know why. But yes, quick resume, great, I like it. Achievements, one of the most requested features on the Nintendo Switch. I gotta be honest, couldn't care less about them. Matter of fact, whenever I've actively tried to get achievements, it always makes me dislike the game even more, and I also never feel the need to go back to it once I've gotten my platinum. Now, I know people will tell me it adds incentive to the game and makes them want to play it longer, and I get what they mean. I really do. But for me, just having incentive things to do in your game makes me want to play it longer with or without an achievement system, giving me multiple different paths in how to play the game with different endings, a ranking system with multiple stages in a level to encourage replayability, as well as an in-depth raising system with multiplayer, and so on, usually does way more for me while keeping the fun factor in check. Instead of hunting for trophies and achievements with more often than not having frustrating tasks, and don't even get me started on online trophies. But I will say, for those of you that care, Microsoft has achievements set up in a way that has you competing with people on your friends list to see who can get the most achievements in a month. So that's pretty cool. But at the end of the day, again, I really couldn't care less. It's kind of annoying that as far as I know, I can't disable the pop-up when playing 360 games via backwards compatibility. This is something I actually prefer on the Switch. I'd much rather just see how much time I put into a game over achievements and trophies. What's even cooler is that Nintendo does this year in review thing every year where they'll show you how much you've been playing your Switch, your most played games, and things of that nature. That to me means a lot more than just getting achievements and trophies. But yeah, that's more or less my experience with the Xbox Series X. Very impressed with what I've been playing on it so far. Now, power, ray tracing, RDNA 2, SSD, T-flops, I don't know what any of that means. You guys know the type of games I play. My games don't really need all that type of power. I'm just here for some great games. And for right now, the Xbox Series X has me covered. My biggest problem with the Xbox back in the day was always their lack of games, specifically Japanese games. But it seems like Phil Spencer and the Xbox brand now understand the importance of Japan, so now we're starting to see more and more Japanese games make their way over to the Xbox, and I'm all about it. Not only that, I know people like to laugh at Microsoft's games nowadays for being kiddie and think that they're supposed to be this, masculine, mature, the dude bro console for all the hardcore mature gamers that need games for the adults. But that's just looking at their poster marquee lineup and not seeing what all they have to offer. But if you actually go back and look at their type of games that they made throughout the years, while yes, some of those could cater to the dude bro crowd, but a lot of them really don't. Even the ones that got canceled over the years like Phantom Dust Remake, Fable Legends, and Scalebound were far from the stereotypical Xbox game. And to me, that's the most exciting part, is that Microsoft takes a lot of chances to see what works and what doesn't. Grounded, I don't know why this game seems to be a laughingstock everywhere I turn, but I really enjoyed it from what I played. Especially as a guy that loved the Dragon Quest Builders 1 and 2, I expect Grounded to be fantastic. That's not even talking about Flight Simulator, The Gunk, Psychonauts 2, and whatever that studio has planned after this game, Fable, Halo Infinite. I'm curious about Hellblade 2. Didn't care for the first game, it just wasn't my type of game from a gameplay aspect, but if they can rework it to make it look more fun, I'll give it a shot. And with the recent announcement of Perfect Dark, while we still haven't seen gameplay, it's nice to see the return to this franchise after so long. And if it's anything like the Nintendo 64 game, we're in for a good time. Overall, the Xbox is cool by me, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for it. Anyways, I've got quite a bit of work to do for the channel. Been kind of neglecting it for a while now, but I have some videos in production that hopefully you guys will like. But until next time, take care. Have a good one.